Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, couple took our Insta-worthy hot chocolate by mistake. How my classmate from college demanded my job. Customer yells at me when my register locks up. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Couple took our Insta-worthy hot chocolate by mistake. I, now 42, live in Copenhagen, but the rest of my family does not, so my sisters like to come visit for a few days every now and then to hang out and enjoy some sightseeing and good food. This happened in December 2019, so before 2020, which means lots of people everywhere and not restrictions of any kind. My little sister, now 38, was here for a Christmas visit in December and we were enjoying the lights, the sights, and some lovely Christmassy delights. It was a cold day and we decided that we would visit a smallish cafe that makes really tasty and very beautiful all things chocolate, and have some of their seasonal hot chocolate, which was kind of pricey, but well worth the price tag. It was a salt caramel and clementine hot chocolate, lavishly decorated by the way. You could get 2 to 3 kinds of pretty but regular hot chocolates too, but this one was their Instagram hot chocolate, if you know what I mean. My sister finds us a table and I get in line to order 2 of these chocolate wonders. There is a bit of queue, but it moves along fairly quickly. I get to the counter, order, and the chocolate goddess at the counter asks me my very feminine name to call when my order is up and informs me that it will be about 10 minutes. I go sit down and wait with my sister at the other end of the cafe, but very much still within hearing distance. So just about 10 minutes later, the male half of a couple orders and goes sit down with his GF, 2 tables away from the counter. At the same time my name is called. Now I cannot see their table as it is behind me, but my sister told me later that the GF pointed at our chocolates immediately and the man more or less sprinted up to get them when the woman, who made the hot heavenly drinks, has her back turned. I walk up there and my drinks are of course gone. One of the chocolate goddesses comes over with the next order and calls a name. I ask where the order for my name is and she said that when she looked over her shoulder to check, she assumed I had gotten them because they were gone. A chocolate god interjected that he saw a man take my order and point to the table with the thieving couple, who were busy taking lots and lots of photos of the drinks. The goddess went over with me in tow and asked what they had ordered. They had ordered regular hot chocolates, but GF had wanted these, when she saw them in all their glory just sitting on the counter with no one to claim them for at least 5 minutes, and so she thought it didn't matter if they took them instead. They were unclaimed for 5 friggin' seconds, lady. The goddess explained that the drinks were not theirs and to wait for their order. "No, they are ours now," the GF claimed and pulled the finder's keeper's card, all while looking triumphantly at me. The goddess asked the guy which name he gave at the counter and he claimed he gave the same as my name, hence the mix-up. So I asked him what name was called. Surprise, surprise, he could not answer. Now GF was getting upset and sat there saying no over and over again, while the guy asked if I could not just order new ones, since clearly they had made a mistake and the drinks were already on their table. Why? So you can steal those too? The goddess asked if I wanted those specific 2 drinks or could she maybe make me some new ones. I asked if the couple would be allowed to keep the mouth-watering morsels of goodness if I wanted new ones and she said yes. Well then of course I wanted those specific drinks and now GF was visibly crying. The goddess took the drinks away and gave them to me. As we were walking away I inspected the drinks and told her she better pour these away and make new ones. Because 1, they were now cold and 2, there were tears in one of them and though I enjoy salt caramel, this level of salt was a bit much. She grinned and took them away and made me new ones, that were served at the table. My sister and I agreed that these were the best hot chocolates we have ever had. We enjoyed them loudly while the thieving couple stared daggers at us. I'm sure the new hot chocolates tasted even better than the originals too. It sure did. My sister sat in full view of them and made sure they knew what they were missing. How dare you take back the chocolate you paid for after they rightfully stole them? Ah ha ha ha. I love that the other woman cried. Serves her right. I hope she ruined the rest of the day for the man by whining and caterwauling. How my classmate from college demanded my job. I work as a teacher and have been doing that since 2008/2009. In May 2008, I had finished all subjects except for my thesis. Since I wouldn't have classes after the summer holiday, I ventured into the world of job interviews to secure a job and get some real experience. I landed a job for 18 lessons a week for a short duration as it was for sick leave. I knew I would have to start looking for a job again during the school year. Luck would have it that when they told me that my contract would end at the 31st of October, a job opening at my, now previous, job went up. So I wrote a resume and application letter, was invited for an interview, and within 2 days I got a call letting me know that I got the job. I was ecstatic. This job started with a temporary contract that could turn into a fixed-term contract. Then the week after I got hired, I got a call from a classmate from college. He asked me a bunch of questions and the conversation went something like this. Classmate, did you just get a new job? Me, yes, that's right. Classmate, is it at, name school? Me, yes. Classmate, in, such and such place? Me, yes. Why do you want to know? He then proceeds to tell me that this school was where he has done his internship for the past 2 years and that he really wanted to work at this school. I asked him if he had sent a job application and such. He did. Oh, okay. At this point, I was feeling a bit sorry for him. I had heard his enthusiasm in the last couple of years but never really remembered the name of his school. Then he dropped a bomb. He told me almost verbatim that you should not accept the job and let me have it. I have worked there as an intern for 2 years, so I have more right to it. He continues his rant that he has more experience with this school and the way they work. True, they work somewhat differently than other, more traditional, schools, and that I should call the school back and rescind everything. At this point, my voice had left me. I didn't know what to say. He kept on ranting and ranting that I had no right and should have asked him first. This was getting out of hand. I told him I had to go and then just hung up the phone. The next couple of weeks, I got a slew of messages and emails and basically telling me not to take the job. I blocked him and started the job. At the end of the school year, I got a fixed-term contract and asked my colleagues and team lead about this classmate. My colleagues were quite blunt that they didn't like him. My team lead told me that my classmate was very enthusiastic but very pushy. He wanted things done his way and did some other things that weren't mentioned that created bad blood between my classmate and the rest of the teachers. He also told me that my classmate had continued to call him asking/demanding for a job. As one of my dearest colleagues said, he was a pushy piece of crap. You are a very good upgrade. I have never heard of my classmate again. He tried to slander me to other classmates, but they didn't believe him. At reunions, he evaded me like the plague. He eventually found another job, and from what I've gathered, he still works there. Aside from how outrageous to think you should walk away from a job you needed, wanted, and valued in favor of him, did he ever consider that if you had walked away, they might have hired someone else rather than him? It never occurred that there were more than 2 possibilities or that they might not hire at all? It sounds like he isn't entitled, but insane. Especially when you've been working there for 2 years already, there is a reason if they pick someone over you. He would have never gotten that job, even if OP had declined. The second I read he had interned for 2 years, I thought, there's something wrong, otherwise he would have gotten your job. Hopefully he's learned to play well with others since then. Customer yells at me when my register locks up. In my mid-20s, 10 years ago, I worked for a grocery store and it was hands down the worst experience of my life that I still have traumatic memories about. That's beside the point, so on to the story. On this particular day, we were slammed. We had all registers open and lines at least 6 people deep in each one. When there is over $1,000 in the till, The register would lock up until a manager collected some money to drop into the safe. It was just my luck that this happened to me in the middle of this rush, and the lady I was supposed to help next was an absolute nightmare. I told her the situation and that I would get to her in just a minute, but I needed to pull some money from the drawer. She did not like this and proceeded to get all huffy about it. I had my back to her so I could count the money I was pulling, and this angered her more. She started yelling about this being the worst customer service she'd ever had and how she worked in the service industry. I doubted with her lack of empathy and had never been treated so poorly. Due to being mute as a child and autistic, although I didn't know it yet, I freeze up when yelled at, especially unexpectedly, and my hands started shaking as I tried to focus on counting the money. The lady kept yelling at me, making me lose my train of thought, and I had to keep recounting the money. I kept trying to tell her it would only be a moment, but this did not appease her. While she was having her tantrum, the hero of the story, the older man behind her in line, started reaming her out. "You are acting like an immature child. Grow up, lady," he yelled at her. This then got more people in line starting to defend me as well and yelling at her. I was still shaking, but it felt nice to at least have someone on my side. I was able to pull the money and have it dropped in the safe, which also took a while before the computer recognized that, and I checked out her items. The only thing I said to her was her total, and I refused to acknowledge her further or say goodbye, and for my timid yet friendly, autistic self, that was the biggest slight I could do in the moment. You know who probably actually worked in the service industry? The older man in line behind her, who incited everyone else to go off on her. We, those who work or have worked in the service industry, tend to, in my observation, tell off customers the way we can when working. What she did is enough for me to kick her rude, entitled, but out of the store. If I was your manager, I would have done exactly that. Kicked her out and told her that she is not allowed back unless she learns some manners and changes her attitude. I worked in a Bath and Body Works for a number of years. Awful experience. One Christmas, none of the sale prices were ringing through, so everything had to be adjusted manually one at a time. My customer was so mad I was slow and asked if I was new. The best part about that job was I was a bit older and didn't really need it, as it was my second job to help with expenses, so I didn't care much. I just politely explained the system issues and then offered to not adjust the prices if she preferred. It shut her up. She wasn't happy with me. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.